Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Boost8638 here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you some samples of the past input cables or output cables that have been used by consoles over the generations of gaming. So the very first cable I'm going to be showing you is the RF modulator cable, which is this right here, this old bad boy right here. So basically what you had, this is a Sony PlayStation 1, so this is what you would have. So this came with the original PlayStation 1. So what you'd do is you'd input this, or whatever jack it was. Like, it's probably going to be different if it was, the Sega Mega Drive, Nintendo 64, Magnavox Odyssey, or basically consoles from like the dates of 1971 all the way up until about 1999, when just before the PlayStation 2 was released. But up until then, they were doing this RF modulator cable. So what you basically do, you input this into your console. Well, as I said, in this case it was the PlayStation 1. So that would input into there, and you'd have your output, which is here. This goes straight into your TV. So this input cable goes straight into your TV, and then you had a output port, which where you plugged your aerial in if you wanted to use your general. Because at the time, I think all countries now switched to digital TV, but at the time, if you're using analog TV, you plug your aerial into this and you still be able to get your, well, in the UK it's 5 channels, but you'd be able to get all your analog satellite channels. But because you plug in your console into the AV port, well, not the aerial port on your TV, this would now be in use, which means you have to have an output or a pass-through function, such as this, to plug your ordinary TV aerial into. So once you'd hook that up to your console, you didn't have to scroll through your, I think it was on my old CRT TV, it was about, you had to scroll through about 80 channels before you could find which one was the correct channel that was output in the display. In my case it was channel 8, but it might be different in other countries. So that was, and all you got your picture and you got your sound all through the one cable. And it was pretty good definition. I think it was about 360p. I don't know if they calculated p at that time, but yeah, it was 360p roughly. It had good picture, good sound, and there was no problems with it. I had it with my PlayStation 1, and it lasted me ever since, and it still works up until this day, as I've tested it not too long ago. So it was a very simple cable, very basic. I think it only works with your old CRT TV or any TV that's got the analog input. I know some TVs aren't bothering to support the analog input or the analog TV because it's become obsolete now. So they're only doing digital TV, which is Freeview. So if you've got a new LCD TV, I don't think this cable would work for you anymore. But if you've got an old CRT TV, this cable will definitely work for you. So the next cable that was used was something called the composite cable, which is this right here, which was like the next stage up from the RF, and that, like, depending on what kind of TV you had. So if you had a TV with a composite input only, that is with no SCART, just composite, you'd use, just unplug them right here, you'd use these 3 colored cables right here. So you had your yellow one is your video, that's what you're gonna get your picture with, your video. The red is your left audio, and the white was your right audio. And if you had an even older TV that only had SCART input, you'd use what was called the multi-SCART output. So you'd plug your yellow into the yellow port for the converter, as it could be called. So you'd plug the yellow into the yellow, white into the white, and the red into the red, and that would just plug straight into your SCART input. And there was no like no problems with any color. There was no degradation of the screen or anything like that. You got the exact same picture quality whether you're using SCART or whether you're just using the normal composite. So there was nothing to worry about there. It was just, it's all the same. There was no picture loss or sound quality loss. and again it had the same input or output for the console as the RF modulator, so there's no change with that. And this, you got this cable, I think this was first introduced by Sony, and I think this was the very first time Composite was brought out. So this was your Composite cable, and that's what you get with your original Sony PlayStation 2, and it's used right up until today. We get it with your PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii. Basically all consoles of this generation, you will get the Composite cable as standard. So you don't, no matter which console you get, you'll always get the Composite cable with it. So that is Composite, and yep. So now I'm going to be quickly doing a side by side. I'm going to be talking about the advantages and disadvantages between Composite and RF before talking about some of the other newer cables that have been introduced in the recent years. So between Composite and RF, there isn't really that much difference. I mean, the advantage with the RF modulator was that oh, you got your picture and your sound through one cable, no problems. The only disadvantage was that you had to try and find which channel. You have to remember, like, pretty much like write down the channel so you know which channel the console was outputting to. So that was really the only problem. But there was personally what I think, between RF and Composite, there is really not much difference between the picture quality and the sound quality. I've tested it myself, and I might do a video to show you, but there's absolutely no difference between the picture quality from the RF or the Composite. It's exactly the same. I can't see any problems. I've tried it with the PS1, and I really cannot see any difference between the RF and the Composite, guys. They're pretty much identical. So, but the advantage obviously with using Composite is that you don't have to disrupt any. You have to, but basically all channels will come with like AV1, AV2, AV3, and it's, you know, you only got 3 channels to figure out whether it's going to be AV1, AV2, AV3. So there's no searching through about 100 odd channels trying to find which channel the console is outputting to, when it's probably only going to be AV1, AV2, AV3, and it also doesn't disrupt your at the time it wouldn't disrupt your analog TV that you was receiving signals from. So that's your standard definition cables for you. It's Composite and RF. So that these are really the only two, apart from SCART to SCART, which is used by satellite boxes, freeview boxes. That's really the world of standard definition. It's only RF or Composite, or SCART, or AV multi-SCART, which is what I've just shown you there. You plug your Composite into your SCART adapter. So that's standard definition for you guys.